Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike, and I'm excited to share another Divi tutorial with you. My goal here is to make learning Divi as straightforward as possible. Today we're going to see how to create an expanding sticky menu on Hover with Divi. Right, so if we look in the bottom left-hand corner here, you'll see that there's our menu bubble, if you can call that. But if I hover over it, it'll then expand, displaying all the navigational items to go through the website. If I move away, it disappears and returns back to the original. Okay, if I hover back in, there you see it displays it again. Alright, so we're going to build this one through today, and if you're as excited about this one as I am, just hit that like button below and let's get started. Alright, so all I've done so far is I've created a new page and I selected the option to choose a pre-made layout. When I chose the pre-made layout, I chose the one called Financial Planning Landing Page, this one over here. Okay, so once that was loaded, I had it open over here, and the only thing that I've done is I took the footer out of the layout itself, and I've placed the footer inside a custom footer. Alright, so that's all I've done so far, and so we can get started building on this website. Just for your reference is that you don't need to take the footer out of here. You can also, if you've loaded this layout, you can also just work on the layout itself. That'll work 100% fine as well. Okay, but let's get started on this. So before we jump into the actual page working there, we have a few settings we probably need to change. And that is, if you see over here, at the top, there is no navigational menu at the top because we have the menu over here. But if you see on the page I've just loaded and we scroll back to the top here, you should see that there we have the menu items. All right. So this is entirely up to you how you want to do things. If you want to leave it like that and double up the menu, that's okay. It might be nice, like once the user scrolls, the sticky one will stay here. So that might be nice user experience. Or what you can do is you can just get rid of this one and only have that one on the side. All right, to do so, first thing we need to do is we need to go into Divi, Theme Options. And in Theme Options here, the fixed navigation bar, we need to disable this. All right, that's the very first one we do over here. And then once you've done that, we also want to go back to the page itself. All right, so let me just enable Visual Builder here. So once this is enabled, I want to go into the page settings. So I just click on the three dots here. I click on the page settings here. And I want to go to Advanced. And I want to go Custom CSS. And in the Custom CSS, all I want to do is I just want to type in main header. And I want to say display none. Okay. And that'll take the menu away for me. All right, so it's all nice and clean at the top. So we can just save that, and then that's all gone. And once that's done, now we can actually go and start with the actual menu itself. So I just want to save this and then exit the Visual Builder. All right, I want to jump. For me, remember I told you I put it into my custom footer, so I'm going to be doing the building from here. It just helps to separate the two as I work. All right, so now we have this open up. So the very first thing that we want to do, excuse me, is we want to add in a new section. So just a regular one is fine. And in this regular section, we also want to add in a regular row. Okay, so once that regular row is open, we then want to give it a bit of styling. So change the settings here. We want to jump into design. Sizing, custom gutter width, we're going to put it down to 1. We're going to hit this up to 100%, and the maximum width we also want to hit to 100%. So we just want to make sure that this row is going to cover the whole screen at the bottom here. Okay, once that's done, we also want to do a bit of spacing, but I think I'll leave the spacing for now and do that at the end. Because what happens now is we need to take out the spacing, the padding on the row, because we only really want to show the module at the bottom here. We don't want any of the excess padding from the row or from the section. But when we're working with a visual builder, is that when we take away that padding, it can minimize completely and very small, that it makes it a bit difficult to work on. The counter for that is you can obviously work through the wireframe, but I think it'll be quite nice to see how we can work through the visual builder here today. So we'll come back and do the padding for this. But in the meantime, what we can also do is we can go to advanced, and we're going to have to add in a bit of CSS for this to make it sticky. So we just go custom CSS, module elements. We want to scroll down to main element, and in main element, we just want to say we want it bottom. We want this to lie at the bottom, 0 pixels. And we also want the position to be fixed. Okay, so we really just want to tell it that this particular row, we want it always to be at the bottom. Okay, and then one final thing probably, this is probably not really needed, but just to be safe, I want to increase the Z index to something crazy like 99. All right, that's just to ensure that this is always going to lie in the top of the page, so that we're above all the other content, to ensure that it's always visible. Okay, so once that is done, we want to add a so it doesn't even work in any case, and it's this one. Let's see. Okay, so we want to add a code module, and in this code we're just going to put a bit of more CSS, that we're going to do a bit of the styling for the menu. So if we come in here, we just say style. All right, and inside the style, we're just going to use a class, dd menu, and we're going to target the list items in that class. And so the things that we want to just work on here is we want to make sure the font size is 0, as well as the line height 0. Okay, and then the next one we want to do is the same, dd menu, but this time we want to target the hover state, and again the list items. Okay, now once the list items, as we hover it, now we actually want to display the list items. So our font size now, we obviously want to be bigger, and we want it to be 2VH, so 2 view height. And the line height, we want to push up as high as 2.1 EM. Okay, so all we're basically doing is we're saying that when it is in the default mode, we want the font size and the line height to be 0. But when we are in hover state, then we want the font size to shoot up to 2VH, and we want the line height to be 2.1 EM. Okay, and I think that's all we need to do with the row, or the code. So let's go and put in the padding. Okay, so this one, I'm going to put in spacing, yeah, top and bottom. Okay, and then just jump into the wireframe. I think it's going to be easier. So the row, we also want to make sure the spacing is top and bottom. I want to make 0. So as I said, that's just to make sure that we're not getting any extra spacing done from the row and the section, but we only want the actual module, the menu module, to be displayed. Okay, so that's all set up. Now what we want to do is we want to add in another text module. And in this text module, just need to get the text that I want. There we go. And then we want to put in home. So this one we want to make unordered lists, because that's what we're going to target later when we do the styling. Landing, services, about, blog, and contact. I think it's all the usual pages that we would usually have. All right, so once we have that in there, we can change the background. Excuse me. And the background we can make white. Okay. Then we also want to change the hover background. So the hover background, I want to make yellow. Okay. Then let's go change this text. So this is the text now that's going to be in the menu itself. So on the Sans, I want the color of my text to be 1D, 1D, 1D. And I want my text size to be 3 VH. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to change the hover text settings. So this is now when people actually hover over. We want to change this one to white and just bring it all the way down. So we're just going to make it like transparent, so it's not going to show the menu item. And so just to also make sure that it does that, let's go jump into the text size over here, and we want to make this 0 VH. Put VH already. All right, so that's just to show that when it opens up, it's not going to show the menu at the top. Okay, next thing we want to jump into are links. So if you have any links in here, we just make that white. Okay, because I don't think I have any links in the one that we had, but you would make this whatever color, because it has to suit the color scheme that you're using in your design. All right, then default, let's change our list. Okay, so now it's the one that we're doing most of the styling for the text that's displaying over here. All right, so let's jump in there, and we want to select the list items, unordered list. And so I want to make it the same text. I want to make it all uppercase. I want to make it medium over here. I want to center it. The list color, this is in hover or not? This is normal. So in the normal one, I want to make this that you don't see it. So it's transparent. Okay, because when I hover over it, then I'm going to bring the actual color in for this. Okay, the text size, I want to make 0. The unordered list or line height here, I also want to make 0 EM, because I don't really want anything to be displayed. And for the list style position, I want to say it must be inside. Okay, once all that's done, then we go back to the list color, and we go into the hover state. And in the hover state, I want to change this color to 1D, 1D, 1D. Okay, and then the text size in the hover state, I want to push this up to 2 VH. And finally, the line height in the hover state, we want to push this up to 2.1 EM. All right, so that's now this is the styling that we did for this state over here. The ones where we put zeros is in that state over there. Okay, so I think that's that done for that. Now what we want to do is we want to do a little bit of spacing. Okay, so we want to make sure that it stays all the way on the right hand side. So to do that, with a bit of trial and errors, we found that the numbers that work quite well are 88 view width from the padding on the right. If we are working in phones, we push this down to 71 view width. Okay. Then when we're working with padding, we jump back into desktop here. So desktop, For top, we're looking at 6 VW. For bottom, we're looking at 4 VW. And then left padding 1 VW. Okay, for tablet, for top is 10. For bottom, it's 10. And for phone, for here it stays the same. For phone, it is 18 and 12. And make sure that we got the 1 in there too. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to go into the hover states. So I just want to jump out of that. I only want the hover over here. I don't want to have the responsive one. Okay, so we just jump into a hover. So that means now on right, I want 59 VW. Okay, then on top padding, we want to do the same thing. We want to get hover, but we don't want the responsive. Top padding, we want 13. Bottom, we want 8. Then left, we want 1. And right, we want 13. 13 VW. Okay, so that should be all the padding. Then for border, what we want to do is we want to make sure we get that round, can we call it round moon? So we just take this one out, and this one over here, we just put in 50 VW. Okay, and that gives us that nice rounding action. Then we want to put in a bit of a box shadow. That's the next thing. So we just select one over here, and we go blur strength. We put in 1000 pixels. And then for color, just take white and bring it down to say here. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so once that's done, we're almost there. We just need to now set this with the CSS that we entered earlier, right at the beginning. So we want to call that same thing, which was DD menu. All right. And then the final thing we want to do is we want to change our transitions to 100. This is just how fast do you want the transition to happen. Do you want it to be very fast? Do you want a bit slow? How quick do you want it? All right, so we've made all these changes, and if everything's worked well, it should work for us now already. So let's just save draft. Let's jump out of here. Let's just save this. And then we go to the front end, and let's refresh this. Okay, so there we have it. There's our menu item on the left-hand side. So if we hover over it, oh, okay, we don't see that. Now, why is this? All right, so the reason for that is because if we jump back into our theme builder, and we jump into our menu item, we go design, and we look at our text. So in our thing here is if we go over this, you can see the hover is working, right? It's displaying as it should. But as soon as you take it off, it doesn't, you can't see anything anymore. So what we do is we go to theme builder, and in our theme, we go to, is it this one? We need to be in the bullets, all right, because we want the bullets. So we go to the bullets, and we go to this one over here, and we just put in 1D, 1D, 1D. And if we save that, we come back in here, we still don't see it. All right, so the reason for that is because if we go into here, we still have displayed this one over here on hover. There it is. Okay, so there's a few more things we probably still want to style. I mean, it's working as we want it to work, but we want to take away the dots, and maybe when you hover over it, you want it to be a different color, right? So let's go back into the module. We go to design, and we go to text, and we go to unordered list, and first thing we can select is unordered list style type. Make that none, right? And then when we go for unordered list text color, go to the hover state and change that one to white. All right, we save that, and we save that draft. We go look at the front end again. Let's hover over it, and there it looks much better already. Okay. So that's how you can easily build a menu item that you can hover over with a sticky menu item that you can hover over in Divi. I hope that this will be useful for you in future projects, and if it is, do come back and let us know how you used it, so we can all go and have a look and learn from each other. But if this has been very useful for you, do hit that like button to let me know. I'm planning to post more Divi tutorials as I learn more about Divi, so please subscribe so that you can be sure that you will not lose out. And your feedback is very valuable. So I look forward to reading your comments that you put in the bottom, or even if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.